Is up, my arch fiends of chaos, coming at you with the gamer channel on some gamer dev in the build, coming up with some Final Fantasy VII theories. Since I'm on some Dirge of Cerberus, I'm still playing Dirge of Cerberus right now on the PS2, so I'm on a Dirge of Cerberus kick. So here's an interesting theory that where the Sephiroth in the remake came from, the future Sephiroth. You know, time traveling is a huge thing in Final Fantasy VII. Both Aerith and Sephiroth are able to time travel, as you already know. But what time did Sephiroth come from? If my theory is wrong, and it's not the Advent Children Sephiroth. Remember, Sephiroth could reform with the live stream, and as long as Cloud thinks of him, he could always reform. Now, my theory is he wouldn't be reforming into the Sephiroth badass that we know with Deep Ground being present. So he must have seen everything that happened in the live stream, so Vincent would have to take out Deep Ground. So this would have to be at least after Dirge of Cerberus. I think it wouldn't even be a year. I think 15 minutes after the defeat of the Sphiets and Chaos and Omega returning to the planet, so nothing could threaten his position. But I still think that Sephiroth got help from Genesis. So my theory is this Sephiroth got help from Genesis, as long as he makes a deal with Genesis to mess up the entire timeline. So that's what I think happened. You know. So this has had to be a reformed Sephiroth after Dirge of Cerberus took place. Which means that Dirge of Cerberus was canon at one point in sequential order. But Sephiroth came to the past, changed timeline. So now it's only Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's it. Then I'm talking about the whole remake. So that includes Rebirth, Intermission. Since Intermission and Rebirth are still part of the same timeline as Remake, I'm still going to count it as the Remake verse. In fact, I'm going to call it the Remake verse. But Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus are written out of canon completely. But at one point, it was sequential until Sephiroth reformed and came back in Dirge of Cerberus. So Cloud, you must have infiltrated Cloud's memories through the live stream like he did before. But this time he hid the remnant away and found some Genova cells and hid instead of trying to challenge Cloud. This Sephiroth was a lot smarter than the Advent Children one, so it wouldn't be detected until too late. But then Sephiroth, knowing where Genesis is, Genesis and Sephiroth has formed a partnership together. And the reason you're not going to see no Genesis clips in this video, really, is because this is a Sephiroth video. But, yes, Genesis sent Sephiroth in the past, somehow. Maybe with the black materia and the proto-materia together. Or maybe using pieces from Omega's body or corpse to power up a time machine, using the black materia and proto-material at once to now go back and forth through time. Now this has been done before, so it's like, this has been done before because Star Wars has done this with the extended universe, with the planet, what's it called, the planet destruction, where I can't remember. They're Death Stars in the extended universe of Star Wars, where they had like planet-destroying weapons, but they could destroy multiple planets at once. You've also seen it in the Disney Star Wars as well, but it just got insane. The same thing with the Final Fantasy VII's writing. That's why most people rather have the original Final Fantasy VII universe and call it a day, which I can understand. Now, I'm going to be honest, anyone who writes time travel, even if they're Stephen Hawking's, the guy who talked about time traveling, it's still going to be a mess. And then you got clones, which that makes another mess. Which Crisis Core introduced the clone aspect before, so they were all in the compilation, they were already throwing stuff throwing more stuff to the thing. And then as much as I love Dirge of Cerberus, as much as I praise Dirge of Cerberus as one of my favorite games, I do gotta admit they kind of went a little overboard when it come to the Cinetic net dive with Hojo going to Weiss's mind and controlling them, like some of the virtual world Matrix stuff and the Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 3 filler type of stuff. I wasn't too cool with that, but it's not at this time the remake. There's nothing that cannot happen. Sephiroth coming from the Dirge of Cerberus timeline can happen and still wipe out the existence of Evangelion and Dirge of Cerberus altogether. Remember, Sephiroth wants to change the world. That's his whole ideal. He wants to change the entire timeline. This time, instead of destroy the world, is to destroy time itself and rebuild the way he wants and make himself the god of time. So even when he accomplishes his goals, he's going to go back and try to fight Genesis and kill him off and take over everything. Because Sephiroth still wants to become the ultimate ruler. He wouldn't share with Genesis. Remember, in Crisis Core, when Genesis asked for Sephiroth to share his cells, Sephiroth just straight up told him to fuck off. He just told him, no, you ain't getting none of this. So pretty much, yeah. I think that's a possibility that can happen within the remake timeline. And like I said, them going further and pushing the narrow and pushing more things, I think it's possible with the Sephiroth clones. Time traveling, future Eris, future Sephiroth. Remember, Intermission kind of pushed it. We got to see Deep Ground before what Dirge of Cerberus should have took place. No one knew about Deep Ground until Dirge of Cerberus, except for the original Shinra board members, Scarlet Heidegger, and President Shinra himself, and Professor Hojo. So, again, anything can happen in this remake. It doesn't have to fit canonically. It doesn't have to fit anywhere. And most likely it doesn't fit anywhere. So, anything can make any kind of sense, which, like I said, in media, they've done this before. Dragon Ball does the whole multiverse thing. Marvel, DC does this multiverse stuff. Even Pokemon has done this multiverse stuff. In fact, on Netflix, I watched this new Pokemon series called Pokemon Journeys. It's a rewrite of the original Pokemon anime in a different universe with different things going on. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake became that because Sephiroth erased continuity as its intended purposes. The Whispers are dead because we killed the Whispers. So now, there's no continuity. Only thing that was truly canon now is Crisis Core. Even before Crisis, even though there's references in there, it's in the game. It's never, the events of before Crisis never happened either. And that should have happened considering the fact it was in Crisis Core, but if Sephiroth has changed time so much, it could be possible that Sephiroth could have came back in the Crisis Core time and changed even more stuff. For the fact that we know that Zack's still alive, which actually was a will by the Whispers, because the Whispers needed a champion to fight for them, because Sephiroth has messed up time so bad to become the ultimate god. That's what Sephiroth is, in this remake, his end goal is to become the ultimate god of the world. And now he'll become the god of time and control reality and the multiverse. He doesn't want the world no more. Sephiroth wants the entire multiverse of Final Fantasy VII. And he'll do whatever he can to get it. That's why there's 3 Sephiroths. There's the Jenova Roth, which is Jenova in disguise as Sephiroth. The Sephiroth that's still sleeping in the crater. And then the Sephiroth that came from the Dirge of Cerberus timeline and was smart and didn't challenge Cloud or anybody at this time. Just stayed hidden until there was a plan to go back in the time and change things. So Sephiroth wants to control all continuity and the edge of creation. But that besides the goal. That's why I said this had to be from the Dirge of Cerberus timeline. Because in the Avid Children timeline, he died. And if he can reform himself, it's going to take a while. It took years for him to form the three remnants. In fact, I read both novels. I read the Turk's novel, The Children Are Alright, and I read the and On a Way to Smile. And in those short stories, it took a long time for the remnants of Sephiroth. It took like 3 years, at least 2.5 years, for Sephiroth's remnants to, be given life, even through the live stream. So it would take another thing. Now I think this time Sephiroth would be stronger. I think probably at the time of Dirge of Cerberus, from the beginning to now, Sephiroth would have to have at least this time made a remnant and then just let that remnant grow and grow, and then took some Genova cells from somewhere, and then probably parts of Omega, and probably got black materia and into a full-fledged Sephiroth. So now it's a Sephiroth with all the powers of the original Sephiroth, with all the powers of the Avid Children Sephiroth, Kadaj. And it explains why he was able to control the remnants and stuff, and create the remnant. That's why he was able to control the Arbiters of Fate, and that's why the Arbiters of Fate produced 3 remnant versions of his remnants. The remnant bosses you fight, the blue, the red, the yellow, is actually Kadaj, Yazoo, and Laws. So this Sephiroth has all the ultimate power. We only saw a glimpse of Sephiroth's power when we fight him in the fight in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So this is the ultimate Sephiroth we're dealing with, on top of the other Sephiroth in Genova, Shinra, and most important, the man that they call G, Genesis Rapstus. This is also why the reason why Intergrade has Deep Ground involved in this. Deep Ground's going to be part of the rebirth a lot earlier. Time has no hold over everything. We're going to see everything in the compilation, but it's not going to ever be sequential anymore. Time is messed up so badly that, since Cloud was tricked into killing the Arbiters of Fate, who knows how Rebirth's going to turn out. You're probably going to see this Fiat. Cloud's going to probably be way more messed up seeing that Zack is still alive and came to this timeline. So that's, but that's why I still think he would have to form at least 15 minutes at this Fiat. And if not, he probably formed remnants a year after Dirge of Cerberus, but within the Dirge of Cerberus timeline, and stayed hidden until it was time. But that's my theory on the Dirge of Cerberus Sephiroth, the timeline Sephiroth. And may the crystal be with you. I will also be talking about other subjects too. I can also talk about other subjects too. I'm opening up to new ideas for content, so let me know there too on the bottom. And may the crystal be